When 17-year-old Emma boarded that plane to the Philippines, her parents were terrified. Their once bright daughter had become withdrawn, rebellious, and angry at the world. But what happened during those 3 months in Manila would change everything. This is a story about an unexpected journey that transformed one teenager's life forever. Meet the Anderson family from Copenhagen, Denmark. Sarah and Michael had given their daughter Emma everything. Good schools, music lessons, the latest gadgets. But around age 15, everything fell apart. Emma dyed her hair jet black, wore heavy dark makeup, and stopped talking to her parents. Her grades dropped. She isolated herself in her room for hours. Sarah and Michael tried everything: therapy, counseling, giving her space, setting boundaries. Nothing worked. "We felt like we were losing our daughter," Sarah would later say. "It was like living with a stranger who resented us for simply existing." Then came an unexpected opportunity. Sarah's company offered her a 3-month assignment in Manila. After countless arguments, they decided to bring Emma along. The 17-year-old was furious. The flight to Manila was tense. Emma wore her headphones the entire time, refusing to engage. When they landed, the humid tropical air and overwhelming city hit them immediately. Traffic, noise, crowds, the mix of modern skyscrapers and old Spanish colonial buildings. The first 2 weeks were brutal. Emma hated everything: the heat, the food, the unfamiliarity. She spent most of her time in their air-conditioned condo, scrolling through social media, watching her old life continue without her. But then something changed. The family had hired a local helper named Ate Rosa, a warm Filipino woman in her 50s. Unlike Emma's parents, Rosa didn't try to fix Emma. She just talked to her. "You don't like it here?" Rosa asked one afternoon. "What's there to like?" Emma snapped back. Rosa smiled. "Come with me tomorrow. I'll show you the real Manila." That Saturday, Rosa took Emma to her neighborhood in Quezon City. Rosa's extended family was having a birthday celebration. 50 people crammed into a small house, music playing, food everywhere, kids running around. Emma expected to feel out of place. Instead, she was welcomed like family. Rosa's nieces, Maya and Chris, immediately pulled her into their circle. They didn't ask about her makeup or attitude. They just included her. "Try this," they'd say, handing her lumpia, adobo, pancit. They laughed when she struggled with sticky rice. But it wasn't mean laughter. It was joyful, inclusive. For the first time in months, Emma found herself genuinely smiling. These people barely knew her, yet they treated her like she mattered. After that day, everything changed. Maya and Chris started messaging Emma, inviting her to hang out. They showed her the real Manila, local markets, carinderias, riding jeepneys. They taught her Tagalog phrases, celebrating every small victory. But it wasn't just the language or food changing Emma. It was something deeper. She noticed how people treated each other, the respect for elders, the way families genuinely enjoyed spending time together, how neighbors looked out for each other. Back in Denmark, Emma had felt isolated even in her own home. Everyone was busy, stressed, focused on individual achievement. Here, community seemed to matter more than anything. One day, Maya invited Emma to volunteer at a local community center tutoring underprivileged kids. Emma was hesitant. She'd never done anything like that before. But sitting with those kids, seeing their faces light up when they understood something, Emma felt something she hadn't felt in years: purpose, connection, like she mattered because of what she could give. There was one girl, Leah, about 10 years old. Emma worked with her twice a week. One afternoon, Leah hugged Emma tight and said, "Thank you, Ate Emma. You're so kind." Emma felt tears in her eyes. When was the last time anyone had called her kind? The change didn't go unnoticed. Sarah and Michael watched their daughter slowly come back to life. Emma started joining them for meals without being asked. She told them stories about her day. She even smiled at their jokes. One weekend, they took a trip to Tagaytay to see Taal volcano. As they stood overlooking the lake, Emma turned to her parents. "I'm sorry I've been such a nightmare." Sarah started crying. Michael pulled Emma into a hug. "We just want you to be happy, sweetheart." "I think I'm starting to figure out what that means," Emma replied. That evening, Emma opened up. She talked about feeling lost back home, feeling like nothing she did mattered, like she was just going through the motions of a life someone else had planned for her. Here it's different, she explained. People don't just ask how you are as a greeting, they actually want to know. Family isn't just an obligation, it's the center of everything. 3 months passed quickly. The day came to return to Denmark. Emma, who had arrived angry and resistant, was now crying at the airport. She hugged Rosa tight. "You changed my life, Ate Rosa." Rosa smiled through tears. "I didn't change anything, Anak. I just reminded you who you already were inside." Maya and Chris came to see her off. They exchanged bracelets, promised to video chat every week. The goodbyes were tearful, but full of love. When Emma walked through arrivals in Copenhagen, her grandparents almost didn't recognize her. She toned down the dark makeup, wore a flower in her hair. But more than her appearance, it was her energy. She was radiant. Going back to school was strange. Her old friends noticed the change immediately. Emma didn't try to convince anyone. She just lived differently. She started a tutoring program at school, inspired by her work in Manila. She reached out to international students who seemed lonely. She called her parents just to talk, something she'd never done before. Every week, she video called her Filipino friends. She practiced Tagalog, cooked Filipino food with Rosa's recipes, and covered her room with photos from Manila. That was 2 years ago. Today, Emma is 19 and studying international relations with a focus on Southeast Asian studies. She knows exactly where that passion came from. "We got our daughter back," Sarah says. "But it's more than that. We got a better version. Someone who understands that connection and kindness matter more than anything." Emma visits the Philippines every summer now. She stays with Rosa's family, volunteers at the community center, and maintains the friendships that changed her life. So what exactly happened in the Philippines? It wasn't a single moment. It was something simpler and more powerful: being truly seen. In Denmark, Emma felt like a problem to be solved. In the Philippines, people saw her as a whole person, worthy of love and inclusion. No fixing required. Filipino culture has a concept called kapwa, a shared inner self, recognizing we're all fundamentally connected. It's why strangers become family so quickly. It's why community isn't just important, it's everything. Emma's story reminds us that sometimes we don't need to change who we are. We need environments where we can be ourselves without judgment, where we're valued for our humanity rather than our achievements or appearance. Today, Emma describes herself as Danish by birth, Filipino by heart. Rosa told her something that Emma carries every day. The Philippines didn't change you, Anak. It just gave you permission to be the beautiful person you always were. Sometimes the most profound transformations happen not when we try to change ourselves, but when we're finally with people who help us remember who we truly are. Have you ever had an experience that completely transformed your perspective? Share your story in the comments. If this touched you, subscribe for more inspiring stories. Maraming salamat.